To be a woman in fashion is just fabulous. But to be a journalist that does fashion is iconic. And so is today's guest status, Chloe Street. She spent 5 years working as a fashion editor at the Evening Standard and most recently as a head of fashion content at Net-a-Porter. And today we're gonna spread all the in and outs of the industry with her. So Chloe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, how does it feel being interviewed and not being the one who actually interviews someone?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice change. Shoes on the other foot. It feels good.
Amazing. So, my first question is how does go one from history student to a fashion journalist?
Yeah, I definitely took a bit of an indirect route. I think I just studied history because I found it interesting, and obviously it's ended up being useful in terms of being a writer. And then, yeah, my first job was at Burberry after university. And then I sort of took a bit of a winding route and I ended up going into finance. And then I did for a year, which I hated. And then I started a law conversion and I quit that. And then I did all sorts of things. And then did a ski season, had an early life crisis when I was 25. Then came back and found my way back into fashion. And I was producing fashion shows before I went to Hong Kong, where I became a journalist. So, yeah.
Wow, amazing. You did a lot.
Yeah.
So, how did you find your true passion after your BA?
I mean, I think I was always obsessed with clothes and words. So I was the editor of my school newspaper. I was the fashion editor of my university magazine and of my university newspaper.
Wow.
So I think the writing was always on the wall. It just took me a while. When I left university, no one told me I could go and be a fashion editor. Everyone said, you're going to be a banker or a lawyer or whatever. So it took me a little while to realize that I could do that for my job, you know.
Amazing. Now, you must be aware that many young people look up to you as a role model. As an insider, what advice would you give to anyone hoping to get their career started in the fashion industry?
Oh, that's very kind. I would say be sure you want it because it's not as glamorous as it looks sometimes, and often the pay is quite bad. But it's a lot of fun. And if you really want to get into fashion journalism, for example, you just start. Like, just email everyone. Make tea anywhere you can. Get your writing wherever you can. Go to your local newspaper. I went to a talk once with Graydon Carter, who was the long-serving fashion editor of Vanity Fair magazine. He came to talk at my university once, and I remember he said, "Don't study journalism, just do it. You know, go and work on your local radio station, whatever. Just it's a job where it's good to just start and you meet people." And so yeah, I think it's obviously difficult to penetrate, and there are fewer and fewer jobs in journalism. But
Yes.
get in people's faces. Approach people at parties, like
Just to jump into the water.
yeah.
Okay, amazing. You have now evolved your career into that of an influencer. So, how did you start your Instagram career?
Oh, I guess I did it for a long time and it didn't really go anywhere. But it sort of started to kick off when I started going to fashion shows, and all the lovely street style photographers send you incredible pictures they've taken of you while you're walking in, and that gives you lots of lovely material to post. So that's when it started to become more of a natural thing, I guess. And yeah, but it's been a long process
Do you
to
like
get
it?
anywhere.
Like,
I do, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I'm doing it a bit more now. I still get massive anxiety about posting. I'm very awkward about it. So I'm not sure I'm a natural, but it's fun. Yeah.
you're a natural
Oh,
model.
thank you.
So, this is very interesting. You lived in Hong Kong for 3 years. How come you moved there? And what was it like to work in luxury in China?
I moved there. I went there for a holiday for 2 weeks, and I ended up skipping my flight home and staying 2.5 years.
Which is insane.
Yeah, quite spontaneous. But I just fell in love with the place. After a week, I was like, oh my God, I want to live here. Everyone had told me it would be like just bankers in rooftop bars, and it's so much more than that. So yeah, I fell in love with the place, and then went for a million coffee dates and networking, and decided I could probably get a job there. And then, yeah, eventually got a job on Hong Kong Tatler magazine. They have like a
Wow.
Tatler out in Asia. They have 9 actually, and Hong Kong was the head office. And yeah, I did all the like fashion and beauty and art and stuff for them, features and things, and it was an amazing job to have in New City. So yeah, luxury in China is quite turbo and quite fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. What was your favorite thing you got to do when you were head of fashion content for Net a Porter?
Oh, that's easy. Interviewing Pamela Anderson.
Can you tell us more about it?
Uh, we did an amazing video with her where she styled some clothes, and then I was meant to interview her. I was actually meant to meet her on set, but they'd scheduled a sort of 6-hour window, and then I was meant to go at the end. And she took 25 minutes on set because she refused to have any hair or makeup or anything.
Love
so
it.
they rang me and they were like, "You've missed her." She ended up calling me from her car home, and we had a lovely phone interview. But sadly, I didn't get to meet her because she's such a legend. She was in and out in half an hour.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you. What would you say is the biggest challenge the fashion industry faces today?
I think we have an obsession with newness that's destroying the planet. And that's intrinsically problematic of the whole industry. I mean, I don't know how we're going to solve it, but people just want more and more newness. And
Do you have this obsession? I mean, would you say you are one of these?
I think everyone does a bit.
Yeah.
I think we're becoming more used to the idea that you have not disposable clothes, but my mum would have a skirt that she wore every weekend for like 5 years, and we don't do that. And our whole perception of clothing's changed so rapidly, and it's a bit scary, I think.
Yes,
And I
definitely.
definitely had existential crises about being a fashion editor, telling people to buy more stuff,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a whole big problem, and I don't know how we solve it.
Let's hope we solve it soon, because it's a real like big issue. So how do you spot a trend on a runway?
That's a really difficult question. I don't. It's like a hunch, I guess. I mean, I suppose I used to keep a lot of, when I was going to all the shows, I would have iPhone notes, and if I found something to look like kind of fresh, I'd make a note, and then if I kept spotting something, the old like three's a trend kind of thing, it would just like permeate, and then I'd go from Milan to Paris, and I'd see it again, and I'd be like, okay, no, this is a thing, and yeah, but then I'd write about it.
Amazing. What is your favorite runway of all time, and why?
Oh my God, so many. There's my first Paris Fashion Week where I did the whole thing. My first Louis Vuitton show, they always close Paris Fashion Week, and I've been so excited. I'd signed up to do the whole of Paris Fashion Week, so I was there for 9 nights on my own, like writing show reports every day. And I'm vegetarian, so I can never eat much in Paris. So by the end, I was just like totally hangry, exhausted, and a bit delirious. And Louis Vuitton show was in the Louvre, and actually they had an Extinction Rebellion person came and like stormed the runway. They'd hidden in the loos, and then like
Oh, wow.
came out with a banner, and the whole thing was a bit chaotic. And I just remember being quite emotional that it was like my first big Paris Fashion Week was over, and I was in the Louvre, and yeah, it was just a memorable, and it was at night, and it was all quite like dramatic.
It sounds very magical. Though,
Yeah, it
I
was.
think. So where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
I have absolutely no idea. I can barely plan 10 days from now, but hopefully...
What's the vision? What would you want?
Hopefully in love with some children, hopefully, if I'm lucky, and with any luck still working in this mad and magical world of fashion. Maybe my own brand, or I don't know, one day, but yeah.
That sounds very inspiring. So finally, there is a set of rapid fire questions we like to ask all our guests. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite color of the moment?
Martini olive green.
Wow, I love it. What is your favorite place in London to eat?
I love Zephyr.
What is your favorite vacation destination?
Ibiza, always.
Amazing. Hills or flats?
Both, but probably flats.
Okay, so if you could have a matcha with anyone, alive or dead, who would that be?
I would love it to be with my grandpa, who I never got to meet. but can we make it a pint?
Thank you so much for being with us today, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can see there more episodes. And thank you. See you next time.